What's going on, guys? What's going on? It's another episode of the Thought and Talk podcast with Aaron EBM. I'm glad y'all came. I'm glad y'all really came. I appreciate it. So we're just going to let a few people get in here, get this mic check and this sound going before we get too far into the episode. Let me see, get these mic levels checked, make sure everybody can hear everything, because that is the most important thing of all. I appreciate it again, once again. Man, it's been another wonderful week. It's been another wonderful week. So good, so good that I decided to take off Friday and enjoy my Thursday night and my Friday uninterrupted. And y'all just know how it is when you working, when you're on the grind, especially if you're not a full-time YouTuber. Y'all know how you got to take your time off. You got to have your time to yourself. You got to get away from all the hustle and bustle and the same old monotony, of the rat race, if you want to call it that. You got to get away and you got to take care of yourself. So guys, remember, health is wealth, and you got to take care and remember to have self-care. So man, we had some much needed rain. You don't want to see this screen. We had some much needed rain going on in the Midwest after a couple weeks of triple digit weather. We got a lot of rain, but we got so much rain in St. Louis that they got flooded out. So you guys pray for the people in St. Louis. If you got family in St. Louis, make sure you check on them. They might need you. They might need your help, and just look out for them, because you never know. It could be you in the same situation. Let's go ahead and get today's show started.
We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by you know the thing. You know how we talk about it. We the people, folks. We gotta. It's just, yeah. But you gotta. I mean, we gotta reassure. Look, my message to everybody I talk to is play the radio, make sure the television, make sure you have the record player on at night, the phone, make sure the kids hear words. I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun, and the kids used to come up and reach in the pool and rub my leg down so it was straight, and then watch the hair come back up again. They look at it. So I learned about roaches. I learned about kids jumping on my lap. And I've loved kids jumping on my lap. Poor kids are just as bright and just as talented as white kids. You know, there's a, during World War II, you know, where Roosevelt came up with a thing that you know, was totally different than it's called, he called it the, you know, the World War II, he had the War Production Board. Where we open up,
hello darkness, my old friend.
$1.2 billion in overtime was denied for hourly workers who were not unionized. $1.2 billion. So you go ahead and you stack spaghetti sauce at a store in a supermarket. You control the guy or the woman who brings out the carts on a forklift. What happens? They make you management.
So would you like to say a couple words?
Am I supposed to speak now, or is Karen supposed to speak? I don't know. I don't want to get in trouble here. Oh, it's me. Okay. Well, you know, there's that great philosopher, and he talked about Jill puts notes up on my mirror when she wants me to, where I shave, to get messages across to me. And what presidents say matter.
The former vice president suggests the black community lacks diversity of thought.
We choose truth over facts.
Biden complimented the town before incorrectly identifying which state he was speaking in.
Joe Biden forgot he was in a video live stream and abruptly walked off camera.
And I spent an hour and a half today on the telephone.
Come on, guys. This is your president.
I mean, excuse me, on what we're doing right now on camera.
Biden making a series of unusual rhetorical detours at the town hall dedicated to health care.
Imagine what would have happened if, God forbid, Barack Obama had been assassinated after becoming the de facto nominee.
The first sort of mainstream African American who was articulate and bright and clean and nice looking guy.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
It don't have nothing to do with Trump.
If you notice, I have more people supporting me in the black community that have announced for me. The only African-American woman that ever been elected to the United States Senate. A whole range of people. My point is...
That's not true. The other one is here.
I have a record that is second to none. The NAACP's endorsed me every time I've run. The world, I mean, come on.
The NAACP does not endorse candidates for political office at any level.
How many unsafe bridges you still have here in the state of Ohio? I mean, Iowa. And I was just in Ohio because they have more. It is important that Iowa and Nevada have spoken, but look, I love this place. Look, what's not to like about Vermont in terms of the beauty of it? And what a neat town. Look, tomorrow's Superstar Tuesday, and I want to thank you all. I tell you what, I'm rushing ahead, aren't I?
Jesus Christ. I hope y'all heard all of that good. But that's your, hey, but you guys, if you voted for Joe, I God bless you. And y'all got to be kicking yourself right now. Whoever voted for Joe Biden and is proud of what y'all seeing right now, God, I pray for you. But hey, look, it's over with. It is what it is. He's your president, and enjoy it. You know, now you guys understand what Killer Mike was talking about. If nobody understands, I understand what Killer Mike was talking about. And the disclaimer, you know, this is not a political stream, but you know, we got to talk about it. It is what it is. We got to talk about it. You know, it's a part of us. It'll be forever etched in history that you have a man in here in office that sounds and does and acts the way he's acting, and everybody's turning a blind eye. But it's good old Joe Biden, man. It's good old Joe Biden. You know, what harm can be done? What could happen? You know, what's the worst that could happen when you got somebody like Joe Biden in office, right? Oh man, oh man. It is what it is. But today's episode, can you outgrow the community? Can you outgrow the community? Is it possible? Is it something that is, is it frivolous? Is it a point to outgrowing the community? Or is it just a phase? Or is it something where someone can call you, a sellout? Or do you supposed to stay behind and then help the people of the community raise up? Is it a thing? Is it a fact? Or is it even a point to wanting to outgrow the community? This is something that I was thinking about, and it's something that I believe most people think about in their journey in life, and looking back and actually being there in real time and seeing what's going on. You can actually ask yourself, is the community worth saving? Do I need to outgrow the community, or do I need to just stay in there and fight the good fight and be there forever? It's a question to ask. Let's see. Let's see. But before I get into that, how is everybody doing? I got a few watchers in here. I got 3 people watching the channel. I appreciate you for being in the channel, or being here on the channel on this live stream. Get in the comments. Make sure that you get into there and really get active, because I enjoy the feedback. I hope you guys realize that I do enjoy the feedback. Make sure you share the stream. Make sure you like and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. Bells, how you doing? The number 1 moderator in the nation. I appreciate you being here with me today. I always appreciate you holding it down in the comment section. Continue to do good work. Continue to do good work. So the community. Can you outgrow the community? Is it possible? Well, before we start that, we might as well go ahead and look at these. Now hold on. Okay, we're gonna start with the 2 videos. Now, if you are born in the community, if you've been in the community and you're really from the bowels of the community, you understand the first 2 things that you're seeing right here is natural. The first thing you have is an overabundance of twerking. We all know that. We all see that, as you've seen the multitude of twerking videos in the last several years. We have the women in the community twerking in restaurants, twerking in churches, twerking in IHOPs, twerking in movie theater parking lots, twerking on top of cars. Okay, it's become a part of life. It's become a part of a natural state of the community. It's become almost what they say a cultural dance, and reaching back into the very deep pockets of our ancestral heritage. That's what they claim, and twerking has become a big part of the community. So that's the first thing you see. And the next part you see right here, if I rewind it back, is an overabundance of violence. Now, the first thing, if you got kids, the first thing you're going to think about or talk or ask yourself is, where did the little kid learn to throw these voracious hooks with such ferocity? Where did this little kid learn? Where would a little kid learn this type of behavior and type of anger that you've seen displayed on the screen? Is it just because he's a part of that in the angry environment? Is it because the lack of attention or the lack of care that he's getting from parent or said parents? I don't know. More than likely he is from a single parent home, and his mother is the one that has to take the brunt of what's going on with him. So you will ask yourself, what is happening? Is it just the community? Is it just the people he's around? Is it just a fluke? But if you actually from it, you'll know that an overabundance of anger is something that is also a natural and a normal part of the community. Often it has been said that the more anger you have, the more of a man you are, the more tough you are, the more of a masculine man you are. And if you're not crying and being overly baby, the opposite, most of the time you're being told that you have to be overly aggressive to be shown that you are a man. So this is also a natural part of being in the community. It's a natural thing for the most part. So if you've been there, you'll understand. If you're not from the community and if you are African American, hey, you're seeing it right here on Live in the Den, the Thought and Talk podcast. Now, for my Caucasian people, it's not, everybody's not exempt. It is not just a black thing. We know that dysfunction is all throughout the land in the United States, and often a lot of these issues that we talk about is an American issue, not just a black issue. But in the subculture of the black community, things are just a little bit different. I often say that when things affect the United States, it also affects the black community times 4, times 10, whatever you want to say, but it's exponentially more things or has a deeper impact than it does on the rest of the country. But I digress. Let's keep it going.
It just was a massacre. So,
and your son
was not affected, but my adopted son died.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I don't know for sure, but that's what I've been told.
You haven't been able to get a hold of him?
No, I'm on my way now to go to the hospital and find out
So he's just not picking up calls? You haven't tried?
No. We have a big family from Compton. I'm from Compton. So, it's a Compton massacre.
Just to hear that a gunfight would break out at a picnic, this was at a car show, there were families, there were children.
It wasn't a car show, sir. It was a baseball game. That's it. At Peck Park. That's it.
Just to hear something like that would happen on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, when you dealing with different hoods, what do you expect? Because it's the weekend, and I don't know. I can't speak for everybody else, but I'm from Santana Block Crip, so I'm from Santana Block Crip, so I'm from Santana Block Crip, so
Hold on.
Happened on a Sunday.
Shout out to AR because we talked about that on his podcast, and let's rewind it just a little bit. Let's rewind it so I can get that sweet spot. All right, right there. Now, this is not this first derriere that this boy has licked. This is not his first derriere. He's licked a couple booties in his life. And I find it's amusing to the people that's on here on this video. It's amusing to them. I hope this more than likely is probably his mom, which is why he laughed, or she laughed in the manner in which he laughed. But after you get done laughing, you have to think, how did he learn this behavior? When did he learn this behavior? And why is it dealt with in this manner? That's the things that you have to ask yourself. Now, what man? You know that a man is not in this home because more than likely he would have been swiftly dealt with. But you see right here that this is a problem. This is an issue. This is an issue with the community. The over sexualization. A lot of the women you hear in these issues or in this world that we live in today, you often hear that women say they are overly sexualized in today's society, right? Overly sexualized in today's society. With the rise of the sexual liberation, being free and all this yada yada yada, they everybody claims that they're over sexualized, but you obviously see this young man lick the crack of this woman's Boutte. It is a little disturbing. It's a little disturbing. I can't say that it's not disturbing because it did bother me. It bothered me because the lack of caring for males in America altogether, whether they're whatever color they are, whatever race they are, and then in the community, especially the lack of caring for the young men in the community. At what point do men get the same treatment or same care? Because this is this is supposed to be a equal, a world of equality now, right? Now, if you flip the roles and added a man, a little girl doing this to a man, what do you think that would have happened to this man, especially a man of a black man in this instant? What do you think would have happened to this man? I asked you that because, the whole thing would have been different. The whole thing would have been different. But I show you this. I show you these things, and I show you this. Let me get this back up here. Let me get everything back. All right, I asked you guys this because this, if you're in the community and if you're a part of the community, these things are are the norm, and you really don't pay attention to how dysfunctional this stuff is until you get to a certain age, right? Till you start to grow and you start to see what other people are doing, or once you begin to see what the functioning reality is outside of the community, you don't really think of these things. You're almost kind of indoctrinated to think all of this dysfunctional behavior is real. It becomes your only state of norm, your only state of reality, and it becomes a part of you. It becomes a part of you. Now, there's some good things, which is why I had the background in the video, like hip hop in this inception was a good thing. The family and family ties and everything like that. That closeness that you have in the community most of the time back when I was coming up was a good thing. But with all popular things comes negativity, becomes the monetization of said culture, which is what you get, the jury, you get the gang violence, the outright supporting of all things negative that could make a company rich, is turned around and used to at our disadvantage. They take our things and make money off of them. It's nature. It's the part of being in a capitalist society. But what I asked you is that when you get to a certain age, or you get to a point, I call it the crossroads in life, you begin to see that things aren't some of these things aren't natural. It's not right. And you often have this point in your life to where you say, well, either I continue to go straight, I continue to act what I'm saying, or live in what I'm doing, and continue to be dysfunctional, or I completely go left into it, deep dive into it, or I go right and be different. I be different. I become to I start and become to begin to be different. I begin to transform into something different. I begin to want to be productive, want to do things that either my former people in my family didn't do, the former people that are in my circle didn't do, and potentially become an outcast, become a coon. That's usually what they call you when you decide to do things that do not run in the same road that a lot of these people and a lot of the groups want you to run in. And this is beyond color. I'm talking about color because, like I said before, or race, because I said before, everything that affects the landscape of America impacts the Black community even more, because of the lack of fathers in the homes, because the lack of structure, because the lack of attention, and everything else. Everything impacts the community even more. It just so happens that that's just because of the position that we in. That's what it does. But people in different communities aren't exempt. People in other communities still have toxic people in their lives. They still have people that hold them back. They still have people that look at them or make them ostracize them for wanting to do different things or before wanting to do better things with them with their lives. And like I always say, misery loves company. So what do you do? Can you outgrow this? And do you feel like you can you're outgrowing the community that you're in, or do you feel like you're outgrowing the people that are around you and you know it is time to make moves? When you're feeling like that, when you feel like that, 9 chances out of 10, it is correct. You need to have that discernment. You need to know that when you're feeling this tinge, when you're feeling that crossroads yanking at you, that you need to take the leap. Because often what happens, you have these points in your life where it's time for you to move, and when you don't move, you miss out on those opportunities. You can miss out on doors opening. You can miss out on things, and it makes it that much harder to catch the next, I'll say, the next jump or the next leap. You have multiple times in your life where this happens. You have falling out with friends, you had falling out with family members, and you often go back. You often pull back out of guilt. You go back to them out of guilt. You go back to them out of feeling like those are the same people that were with you. Those were the people that were with you during the bad times, and it's just proper for you to be there with them and to go back and to make sure that they're all right before you move on. But I'm telling you, you got to take care of yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not doing taking advantage of those instances where you can move forward, you might miss it, and you might miss it forever. That's where, like you see in our community, where you have 40, 50-year-old black men acting like they're 20, acting and dressing like they're 20 years old, acting like they still are in a time warp. They're still packaged up, and they are basically stuck in a position in life to where they will never get out. We all see that. We all see the guy that we were in high school with and junior high with, and you look back on him when you're advanced in life, and you look back on him and he's or she's in that position, and you're like, well, how did they get stuck? It's almost like they're in the same frame of mind when we graduate. That's because not leaving or not outgrowing or not taking the time to blossom into the part of life that you need to be in, and wanting to be safe, wanting to be stuck, not taking that leap, conforming, like we said a couple streams ago. Conforming, you want to conform, you want to conform and stay in that same position that you were in, and it's a lot easier to stay in that position. Conforming is a lot easier than that growth, because that growth is uncomfortable. That growth will always be uncomfortable. It will never feel okay. It would always feel like you're in a position that you just don't feel right. It just doesn't feel good. Just like lifting weights, or just like any part of exercise. And when you're out there and your heart's beating 1,000 miles a minute, and you feel like you can't catch your breath, and your body's telling you to stop, that even though that is growing you, it is painful at the same time. And a lot of people can't deal with the pain of growth. They can't deal with what it's going to take for them to grow. They can't deal with what it's going to take when they're growing. The people that they're looking at them and telling them that they're not going to make it, that they're not going to be anything, that they're not going to be anything in life. They can't take people looking at them and making them feel like they're crazy, or making them feel like whatever they're doing in their life is ridiculous, and they're going to be nothing but the same thing that Junebug is doing down the street. Their grandfathers, their uncles were drug dealers and gangbangers, and they're going to be the same thing too. So it's hard to go against the grain. If you're in high school, this goes for in high school and college too. When you're in high school and college, it's the same thing. You get a lot of people peer pressuring you to do something different, to do, I mean, not different, but do what they're doing, because like misery loves company. They want to keep you there with them. They want to keep you being in that same negative position when you're meant to grow, and you're meant to grow. The people that I'm talking to that are meant to grow, that have something destined for them to do in life, they know what I'm talking about, because they know, they have the feeling. They know when it's time for them to move. It's time for them to get in that stasis of growth. They know when it's time to make that metamorphosis. They know when it's time to make the metamorphosis because you don't feel right. You don't feel good. This time, that metamorphosis, that point when you start to feel different inside, and you start to get that itch to do something different. Take it. You can outgrow the community. I feel like you can. When you're at a certain age, when you're in, and then most of the time you're in your 30s, and you begin to look at life, you begin to look out and see that I just don't quite fit in with what's going on in the with the rest of the world. With the music doesn't feel right to you anymore. The you find yourself often, trying to pull back at the point for the memories in your life to feel that same part of excitement that you used to have, and it just doesn't hit the same as it did when you were back there. You find yourself listening to lyrics, and actually listening to lyrics, and not just listening to a beat of a song, and you realize that the things that you are absorbing into your body, that you're absorbing into your mind, just doesn't feel quite right. It just doesn't feel like this is something that you need to be putting deep down into your soul. Now I get it. Like I said, I'm a hip hop person. I love hip hop, and I'm not down in all of hip hop together. It is what it is. I think it's a part of it. It gives us a part of our style. It gives us a part of the way we move. The way we move through life. It does. It gets us out of bad times. You know what I'm saying? But like what I'm saying is that when you feel in your spirit, or you feel in your soul, or whatever you want to believe that you are made of, the components that you are made of, your spirit, your soul, your body, all feels when you're starting to outgrow the negativity. You're starting to outgrow the people that are around you. And what I'm talking about today is when you're starting to outgrow the community. You look back and you look at some of the things that are going on, and instead of laughing at people, beating each other upside the head, or starting to condone women twerking everywhere, it kind of makes you look at it as like, degenerate behavior. You look at it as degenerate behavior, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to say to those people. You want for everybody to be more positive in what they're doing, but you cannot really control that. People that are outside of your bubble are really outside of you. You can't really control anything. So what do? You know, do you decide to walk the other way? Do you decide to go the other way, or do you fall right in line? See, this is what I often say about some of the women that are in our community. See, women in general are communal creatures. They are communal creatures. They love the community, and I'm saying community as a whole, just the community aspect of a community. They love to lift each other up, regardless if they're doing something good or something bad. See, that's what the sisterhood comes into. The sisterhood will see women acting in thoughtish type behavior, and a lot of the times they will not call other women out, or they will not go the other way. See, I've often challenged women about calling other women out or holding other women accountable, and a lot of times it's like nails to a chalkboard, because they don't really want to go against the grain, because they are communal creatures, and being ostracized in the community, and sometimes ostracized to the point of people not wanting to be around them, affects them a lot different than it affects the average man. They don't really like It's really uncomfortable, unless they're a super introvert, which some of them are. They don't want to go against the grain. So I asked, instead of going at it head on, why don't you do something different? Why don't you create another class of women that will make other women aspire to be like them? And you really don't even see that. What you often see happen is the same women that are doing, that are the business women, that are the business class, or the women that want to do better in life. Those are the same women that will praise the city girls for doing what they do, that will praise the Sukihanas for doing what they do, and continue to try to be like them, and be what they are on the time that they are not in the office, and the time they're not in the boardroom, on the time when they're not at work, in their careers, they do and big up each other to be and to do and to be the same thing. And this is the problem that you see. You have business women wanting to behave in the same manner or trying to behave in the same manner, and then you have the street women who want the same respect as the board women, and they often try to get it, and they probably will get it because they're helping each other. And why would anybody want to do different? Why would anybody want to do something or change or do anything when they have the full support of their sisters right there at any moment, at any time? Why would they do anything different? Why would they do anything different at all?
What you do?
One night stands, I just said that. I don't like commitment. I don't do no motherfucking relationship.
You don't do relationship?
Nah, that shit dead for the motherfucking bird. I'm not the marrying type. I don't do marriage. One night stand.
I'm more of a, solo type of bitch.
Oh, city boy!
It's an evil world we live in.
Sensational.
That's it. That's the same behavior. Where do you think that behavior? Where do you think that came from, y'all? Where did that think that came from? That has become the behavior that is indicative of the community. That has become what the community is. That's a part of that's the part of the attitude. That's what they give us. That's what they want, and that's what they want to show, and that's what they want to do. So instead of having other women say or show or be the example, you get that right there. And I say, and that's why it's easy for me to say, no, I don't want people to just jump up and get married to them or give their whole being to that. I want men to look out for themselves. I want young men to be whatever they can be, and then the people that are good for them will fall in line, and people that want to actually be to make something happen, that will make that happen, and they will actually be with that person, or hopefully they will be with that person, and they can move on and be productive members of the society that we want. But for men to just go out and say that they need to they need to work hard and give a woman or women like that everything and fall into the trap and perpetuate the same thing that we've been perpetuating for the last 30 years, I say not. We're not going to do that. But outgrowing the community, it's a very real thing. It's a very real thing. You got to be brave. You got to be one. We often hear this whole alpha thing. We often hear this alpha versus beta thing, and every time we talk about somebody being alpha or beta, we always talk about it in the aspect of them wanting to impress women. Alpha and beta conversation comes up, and 90% of the time it has something to do with them having control or having the dominant stance against a woman. But how about being a beta or not be a beta, but how about being a alpha in the terms of being your own man or walking your own way, or more so like the Sigma man, or just not just holding your position, and regardless of whatever somebody says to you, know that you are the master of your plan, you are the master of your own path, and you are the only one that can make or break you being who you want to be. Now, I'm not going to say it doesn't feel harmful or it doesn't feel hurtful when you try to grow and then move away from the the horrible behavior, or I'll say the degenerate behavior that we often are around us, the adversity that we feel when we're trying to move away. I'm not going to say that doesn't feel bad or that doesn't feel off, that you're when you want to grow or when you want to do something different, because you're going to feel it. You're going to feel every bit of you're going to feel every bit of the pain of not wanting to conform to what people want to do around you. And I said before, family too. Family's not no different. Family's no different. Often you get the worst treatment. You get the worst treatment from family because family, for the most part, feels like they can do whatever they want to do or say whatever they want to say to you, and you'll be right back there in their corner because you guys share DNA. That is almost worse than strangers influencing you or impacting your life, because the strangers and other people outside of your blood, you can just get away from them. You can just not have anything to do with them, and you can just move on and not really have to deal with it. But for family, they know that you're there, they know that you'll be there, and for the most part you're not going to be able to write them off because other family members aren't going to look kindly upon you doing so. But I'm telling you, it's okay to think about self. It's okay to say, look, I can't, you're not what's best for me. Every time I try to do something different in my life, you're there either holding me back or not pouring into me positively. So it's time for me to leave you alone, or love you for a distance, love you from a distance, not have you in my personal space to where you can impact my daily life or my long-term or short-term goals. Sometimes you just have to do that. Sometimes growth will be lonely. Sometimes growth will be something that puts you in a position to where you don't have a lot of people around you. And before my mother passed away, she went through the same thing. Now, she was a very upbeat, bubbly person, and it was a time to where she knew, and she said God told her that she had to be still in life. I think it was a New Year's, some kind of New Year's deal. And everybody wants to be social. They want to go out and have fun and drink. You know what I'm saying? Go out there and do everything they want to do on New Year's. That same thing. They want to get out there and have fun. But things just didn't work out. Things just didn't go the way they wanted to go. And she said she heard God tell her that she needed to be still. She needed to be still and be content in being alone. And that's not always a good feeling, because no human is really meant to be alone. That's what happens when we're alone. We end up going crazy. We end up going nuts. That's why people fight so hard against solitary confinement and the impact that it has on people, because we're not meant to be alone. It often does drive us crazy. And and it's just not good to be alone. But there's some times in life, and you're not going to be alone. If you're not in prison, you can go out, you can go to the grocery store, you can get out and see people, you can go to the movies, you can do everything you want to do. But when I talk about being alone, I'm talking about really being in that fortress of solitude in life, to be able to sit back and pull yourself away from those people that don't really mean you any good, when you're trying to actually transform and grow into something that you want to grow in. You're going to have to pull back, and you're going to have to be content into being by yourself. It's like the monks do in Asia, or things like that. They go off into solitude. They train, they pray, they meditate, they do all of these things because it is indicative, or it's very important that they have that time to be alone, that time to be by themselves and to focus on nothing but their mind and their body. And it's the same thing for, why is it, if it's okay for them, it's almost a necessity for them, why is it not okay for us? Why is it not a thing that where we should be able to practice? Why is it something that is shunned upon for you to just go into your solitude, to be able to focus like a laser, as the great and late Kevin Samuel say, focus like a laser on what you want to do, and you moving forward and you bettering yourself. And I'm not just saying better yourself by just sitting back and not doing anything and not having to deal with it, but I really mean focus on what you're doing on a goal, or to outright to better yourself. Why is it not okay to just do that? Why is it not okay to just sit back in you, what you're doing, and push and fight for what you want to by yourself? See, it's a lot easier to fight for what you want. It's a lot easier to battle that that uncomfortability without you having to worry about who's thinking about you, who's looking at you, who's laughing at you, you know. And I'm not saying that support there, people not, not you not being able to take that support from people rooting you on and believing you. I'm not saying that, but sometimes you really do need to pull away. And that's a very a big thing that you need to worry about with the community too, because the community is addictive. Being around the fighting, being around the trouble, being around the adrenaline and the endorphin rushes that you get from being around the negativity, being around people doing all kind of crazy things. It's addictive. Why do you think Love and Hip Hop, and why do you think all this ratchet TV is so it's watched in the manner in which it's watched? Because it's addictive, especially to women. It's especially to women. It is very addictive to want to be around the drama, around the community drama. You can't have all that fun and excitement that you get from all this drama by yourself. You can't sit up there and argue with yourself. You can't sit up there and fight yourself. You're gonna need other people around you. You're gonna need negativity. You're gonna need somebody to be argumentative with. And that right there should tell you that outgrowing that and outgrowing that behavior, outgrowing those that need to have to be around that trouble, have to be around the drama, have to be having to be around all of this stuff that's not going to do anything but waste your time and stunt your growth in life. It's a necessity to outgrow these things. I just don't want you guys to miss the train. I don't want you guys to miss out on the opportunities that you're going to get for not being around here, that for not being around the negativity of the community. You can't be, or you can't jump on those opportunities when your brain is flooded with all that noise pollution that can be a onslaught of the community. You can't do it. You can't do it. And for my people outside the community that want to do the same, want to grow, it's the same thing. There's a lot of people around you that just will hold you back, that will stunt your growth, and will do nothing for you but bring you down. And the sooner you cut it off, the better off you'll be. The same thing, the same reason I try to show you guys that the videos that I show you that are positive, because we don't get enough of it. They know what you like. They know if you're in marketing, you know that sex sells, arguments sell, and they're going to continue to feed you what you want. As SKC said, eat, sleep, fight, bust. Eat, sleep, fight, bust. They know that the Maslow hierarchy needs, sex is really high up on there. Eating is very high up on there. Fighting, not so much. And sleeping is high up there. So if they can feed you the top tier of the Maslow hierarchy of needs, they're going to give you what you need. They know that you need to be fed. They're going to make sure that you fed with all of this stuff. They're going to make sure that you fed with everything that you need. And then when you look back on life and you missed out on 2-3 years, of just sitting back being complacent, because it's a lot easier to sit in the things that you want, you'll be regretful. And that's what we don't want. We don't want. It's okay to fall when you're growing. It's okay to fall, fall short of when you're in the process of growing. But what's not okay, and what you don't want to have to look back on life, is for you to say that I missed out on those opportunities. I missed out on wanting to do something different. I missed out on I missed years of having the ability to be. I could have been that much more further in what I wanted to do in life had I not been so stuck in what was going on around me. And it's sad to say, sometimes that is actually the community we live in. See, they call us, bougie when we want to move away from the hood. They call us sellouts. They call us coons when we don't want to be a part of the negativity that's going on. But I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, if they can take your place once you got away, once you were able to move ahead in your life, once you were able to knock down and tackle the goals that you wanted to have or that you did have for yourself, and you got past them, and they were able to look at you when you, and not saying it's gloating, but actually look at you as an inspiration, that you have all of your children with you, that you are being a man that your parents couldn't, being a man that your father couldn't be, or being a woman that your mother couldn't be, and they look at it and they see you in the positions that you're in, and they see that and they are able to look at that. You can't tell me that they wouldn't trade places with you in a second. You can't tell me that. I know that they would trade places with you. I know that they would. So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes we got to get away from the same old thing that we hear. And that's even in the space. That's even in the space. That's even in the red pill space. If you're in red pill, I enjoy red pill. I enjoy the actual message of men wanting to do better for themselves. I enjoy the message of knowing the female nature, because we do need to know female nature, not because women are our ultimate enemy, because I don't believe women are our enemy, but the culture has put women in a position to believe that they are ahead, or are all powerful, and men need to sit back. And even though we are supposed to be equals, a lot of them still want preferential treatment, and that's just not good for a young man in this society. Men need to know that they are cared for. Men need to know that they are special. That that they are special in their own right, that they have things that they could do, that they are not just bound to whatever, the crumbs of society. And you need to hear that, and you need to know that outside of, we need to hear something outside of men wanting to get with women, because we know that that's natural. Men want to get with women. Men should want to get with women should want to get with men, but today's culture has said that men aren't good enough for anything but a bag and a D. Men aren't good enough for anything but a bag and a D. If they can do that, there's a lot of guys that really aren't good for anything. We know that those guys are out there, but for some reason, the guys that do have something going on, they, a lot of them get treated as if they are not good enough for anything but the money or what they can produce for the woman or society in whole. See, that's the dilemma, and men need to know that they do need to be productive. We can be productive. We will be productive, but somebody, if you don't have the people talking, if you don't have the people reaching out, if you don't have the people showing you anything but them wanting to kiss up after women all the time, or try to get with women, and that's your, or that being your sole purpose in life, what are you going to do if that's all you see? If that's the message that you see day in and day out, you will be doomed to repeat that same thing. Now, some of us have the willpower not to, and that can look back and say, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Forget that. We know who we are. I don't need to tell the people who they are. They know who they are. But some people need to see the inspiration. Some people need to see that they aren't alone out there. Some people need to see that there are other people in their corners that are rooting them on, and they just need to know that who the people that are out there. That's why I do what I do, and that's why I will continue to do what I do. Now, I know I can't save everybody, and I know all the messages and all the videos and all the streams won't reach, and people won't care about them, because everything isn't salacious and hellacious. It shouldn't be. But if I don't do it, and if I don't say anything, and if I sit back and be complacent, you're not going to know it's okay to outgrow the community. It's okay to outgrow the community. I implore you that you outgrow the community that you're in. I implore you that you do something different. I implore you that you go against the grain and continue to take care of yourself, and not be a continual victim, not join in on the victim Olympics. Make sure that you guys know that you always have somebody in your corner. That's why I care about the positivity. and I will always care about the positivity. Now, we get down. Now, we get foolish. I can't do, I can't be out here doing what I do without being foolish sometime, and then pointing out the wild hyena, the packs, because we got to have fun out here. But you guys got to know. You guys got to know that it's okay. You guys got to know that you're going to be called everything in the book, man. You're going to be called everything in the book. But when you're done and when the smoke settles and you're walking on the ashes of the other people's failures, you will realize that you guys made the correct decision to outgrow the community. Well, I felt like this is a pretty good stream. I got a couple people in there. Who do I got in here right now before I get out of here? We got Bells in here that said, most definitely, I appreciate you coming through. You are the best moderator out there. And who else we got right here? We got Faye. How you doing, Faye? Are you new to the channel? If you are new to the channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Make sure you like this live stream. Make sure you share it with all your friends, family, loved ones, and the people that are just acquaintances. Make sure you do that. Make sure you do that as soon as possible, because I want this 2 or 3 people to become hundreds of people. I want it to become hundreds of people as quickly as possible. Well, it doesn't have to be super quick, because I need to learn. I need to hit those learning curves. But you know what I mean? I need to make sure that we hit this in a timely fashion, because I'm trying to grow my audience. I'm trying to get to at least 500 subscribers, and you need to see my face. You guys need to see my face. I need to get to at least 500 subscribers by the end of August, and I can't get to 500 subscribers by the end of August without you doing what? Sharing this channel, sharing the video, making sure people like and subscribe, and doing all that good YouTube stuff. So make sure you guys do that as quickly as possible. Did you guys have a good time on the live stream tonight? I hope you had a good time. What's wrong with my mouse? Make sure you get off here. Make sure you do all of that good stuff, guys. Make sure you do all that, because I can't grow without you guys. I know I'm only in here for a year or so, man, but I appreciate all of you guys coming. Let's see. Make sure you get in there and make sure you comment on the videos. Make sure you give me any feedback that you feel like giving me, because I appreciate it. Make sure you continue to support. Make sure you continue being you. Make sure you do not get stunted. Make sure you grow. And when it's time for you to outgrow the negative people around you, especially the negative people in your circle and in your community, make sure you take the necessary steps to get out. Make sure you take the necessary steps that are the best for you. Make sure you take all of those steps in a timely fashion, because we don't want to look back on our lives and be filled with regret. Nobody wants to be filled with regret. Nobody needs it, and nobody should. Before we get out of here, you guys know, you guys should be used to it. If you've been watching for the last few streams, you already know what time it is.
Definitely could.
Easy money.
Easy money. Have you ever thought about what else you could be? Go on.
You could be a brain surgeon. Your hands could operate as skillfully as Dr. Myron Rowe. Or a sports agent, handling big contracts, like Rich Paul. What about an artist? You can be as creative as Brian Blue the Great. The art you make could inspire the world. Son, you can even be an astronaut. Flying in space with Leland D. Melvin. Sure, with those hands, you could play for a team, but you could buy a team. Ownership gets to wear the rings first.
I can do all that, Dad?
You can be anything you want with these hands.
All right, guys, make sure you, like I said before, make sure you like the channel, make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace. See you later.